Hello, and welcome to the Animated Doctor Podcast, where we talk about all things timey-wimey. I'm Morgan. Yeah, I know you weren't ready.
I was not ready for timey-wimey.
Nope, I was not ready for you to throw that out there. I'm impressed, though. That was good. I'm Kitty.
And I'm Branton.
And today, we're going to continue talking about some of our favorite episodes. And today's episode is the Chimes of Midnight.
Morgan's favorite episode.
Yes,
So,
the one I picked.
Yeah, so we have Brandon and I have both watched this now.
We
watched.
Listened to it.
No eyeballs required for this one.
Yeah. But you get to tell us.
Yeah.
Well,
And if people are listening and don't know what Chimes of Midnight is, it is an audio play found on bigfinish.com. It's like all the official radio dramas and stuff. Starring Paul McGann as the Ace Doctor and his companion Charlie. And they take the TARDIS, end up in a house where there's a murder. Dun dun dun. Then an hour later, there's another murder. What keeps happening? What's causing all these murders? Every time the bell tolls, there's a murder. Except for at midnight, everything resets. The murders happen again, but the house workers are aware that they're murdered. So the mystery becomes not a whodunit, but why do they keep repeating? And that's just a journal summary. The Doctor, well, really Charlie saves the day at the end.
Yeah, it's really Charlie.
yeah.
And there will be spoilers for this, but you should definitely go and listen to it because it's good.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. It's an old school, it's not old school as in it was made a long time ago, but it's old school in the style. It's a radio drama. Mm-hmm. So, like, sound effects and people walking across creaky floors and doors opening and,
And there's no narrator, so it's like pretty much if you put on an episode of a TV show, but close your eyes.
Nice, yeah. Except sometimes the lines, like you're pointing a gun at me, so that
you can tell what's happening. Yeah,
listener will understand.
Good writing, though.
Yeah.
I never thought it was gimmicky to me.
No, me either. I was impressed because I have listened to a lot of like the old school 1940s radio dramas, and oh my god, they can be gimmicky. They can be really.
Where they're just kind of like there's no narrator, but someone's literally narrating what's happening.
Yeah.
This never felt like that to me.
No, it was great. It was really well written and really well orchestrated.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of the story, just in general?
Well, I think it's really good. I like the form. I think that impressed me the most was the form of the audio drama. And also how the wittiness of Doctor Who generally got spread out to so many different characters. I think because there's this sort of need to like to describe what was happening. So I felt like almost all of the wait staff, for instance, like they had this great back and forth with each other, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, because it had this very like upstairs, downstairs, Downton Abbey kind of thing going on. So most of your characters you've got the chauffeur and the
scullery maid, the ladies' maid, the cook, and the butler. Yeah.
And you're not allowed to go upstairs.
Right.
Because that's upstairs. That's where the master lives. And by that I do not mean to reference the character the master. Like I mean in the old school, the lord and the lady. But yeah, everybody's a little bit, a little bit witty, a little smarter than your general background characters tend to be. And a little more interesting, too.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty interesting.
Yeah, they're also, like, pretty much aware of the situation, though. Like, they know what's going on way before the Doctor does.
Yeah, right. Sort of.
Yes.
They were, like, living in it over and over. So.
Yeah, and it's weird that they're aware, but they're not self-aware, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
They're
also not resistant.
Yeah. And I guess that's what I mean by self-aware. They're not so aware of the situation that they could resist what's being done to them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It seems like they never stop to think. Like, they recognize what's going on, but never think about it.
Yeah.
So they sort of just automatically play along. They subconsciously they know things are weird.
Yeah. Because there's that one moment when the chauffeur asks, I think the chime. I think that the one of the hours has struck, and then he turns to the doctor. He's like, "Have I been murdered?" like he was confused if it was his turn or not. Yeah,
his turn or not. Which was a really funny and really creepy touch.
Oh, yes.
Which Doctor Who does so well. Like the funny and like, oh, that was funny. Oh, I feel bad for laughing because that's really kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Like, because he meant it sincerely. Like, have I been murdered? Like,
and
am I dead now?
most of the murders were kind of funny.
Yeah,
like that.
But also
theatrical.
Yeah,
if you had seen them visually, they would been grotesque.
Well,
like the plunger to the face,
or the cook being stuffed with her own stuffing,
or the being run over by a car, like the tracks on his face, kind of thing. Like,
no, they would have been grotesque, but in that same B horror movie like we talked about with the adipose, which fits Doctor Who.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, but they're ironic enough.
Yeah, because it got a little dark towards the end. We started out very fun, very we're doing adventures. Haha, isn't this interesting? How fascinating! Yeah. And then we got real like okay, well somebody's got to die. I've decided it deserves to be you, kind of thing, and got a little intense.
I really enjoyed it because it definitely starts off as your standard murder mystery, which is fine. It's like. Half of Doctor Who is him laying into place and figuring out what's going on.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then, I thought it was really engaging. Who murders people wasn't as important as why it keeps happening over and over again.
Exactly.
And your timey-wimey stuff and.
Yeah. And then also it breaks the fourth wall in a certain way because Doctor Who's just mentioning how much it feels like they reference him as a detective or a hobby sleuth, so it's like Miss Marple, it's like Sherlock, it feels to me more like a Miss Marple or a Poirot.
Well, they actually mention They actually mention Marple. They never say Sherlock, but they mention Agatha Christie.
No, you're right.
Marple.
No, that's right because there's the confusion of whether they're talking about the car, and it's also before. This is before she could have written it. It was because there's that. And there's a confusion about was it a Mercedes and a
Bentley?
A Bentley, yes, yeah.
Was it a Mercedes or a Bentley?
It's weird. I like it though. It's weird.
Yeah, and I think it was meant to because I think they never directly said that, but because there's actually two timelines. So this is that house is set in 1908 or.
Something like that.
Yeah, and then it's 20 years later that the events that started this cycle actually happened. So I wonder if those are. I didn't look. I don't know anything about cars, so I guess I kind of just assume that's why there's that confusion.
The Mercedes hadn't been invented yet. The Bentley
but it would have been by the time that the original.
That the scullery maid, whose name I'm not going to be able to. Edith actually offs herself. Yeah, that's rough. And
that was sad.
Sort of homosexual. I definitely got that undertone there. That Edith was feeling something for Charlie.
I believe that. When it originally happened, it had to have been more like an aunt-niece thing, but maybe not.
Oh, you're right.
She was quite a deal.
Quite old. Yeah.
But you're right that in this same timeline, Edith and Charlie are about the same age. Yeah.
But they wouldn't have been when Edith actually kills herself.
Which is why some of those memories come out in The Cook. Because remember, each of those characters... In fact, I'm not entirely convinced those other characters... I think they're also just fragments of Edith.
I think they might be her... they're not really of her, they're her memories of people being cruel to her.
Right, exactly. And so they're filled up with her, too. Yeah.
It's amalgamation, combination of various people she's run into.
Yeah. Well, but also her. So the cook, the plum pudding is something that she made when she was a cook. So when she was this age, she was a scullery maid. And apparently
Charlie loved.
A chauffeur, right. Yeah. So the lady's maid is also a fragment of her, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because the chauffeur is the guy who misused her or whatever.
Yes, that's right. And then the butler is one of the ones that kind of try to put her in her place, so that she's nothing. And
Nothing and no one.
Yeah. I'm nothing, I'm no one.
I'm annoyed that you've killed my homosexual.
Well, no, I don't think that removes it. It's just a bit more Freudian then. Like
that makes it creepy. I didn't mean to make it creepy.
I don't mind creepy.
I always saw it more as like Charlie was the only person that ever treated her nice.
Yeah.
Like in her whole life, like as you can view in this house, there's like everyone she's ever run into, pretty much.
But that's sad. That makes it sad because Charlie barely remembered her.
Yeah.
And
also explain like why she got obsessive too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Well, but Charlie would have been a child. Like Charlie would have been so like if you haven't felt love from anyone, and then this child is kind to you, then possession makes like we get very possessive about our kids kind of thing.
Well, it would be a child. It would be up until Charlie's age now. So she's now. So she died. She would have died. Maybe actually there was that sort of like, cause the doctor's weird towards the end there, so it makes me think that maybe Charlie did die in the
or has to die
the dirigible or whatever that thing is called.
I think.
The Hindenburg. Is it supposed to be the Hindenburg?
Is it the Hindenburg?
The Hindenburg disaster, or is it some
it's
other?
like more or less the exact same thing. But it's the R101.
Which is crap, because there
could have been easily the Hindenburg.
Yeah, the Hindenburg was. I mean, that was the big disaster. It's why dirigibles weren't used. Mm-hmm. If there had been another one before that, there never would have been the Hindenburg.
Yeah, that's true.
But
missed opportunity.
But the Hindenburg didn't occur until well into the 1950s, because that is filmed.
Right.
So I guess they needed to push it back.
They needed to be a little earlier.
Yeah.
I always viewed the doctor as being weird, as him knowing that she was supposed to die, and the fact that she didn't is messing everything up.
Right, including Edith.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Edith commits suicide. See, that's what I'm saying. So Edith, like, Charlie actually was probably the way I read it is Charlie seems like a very polite and pleasant person generally, having seen her only or heard her only in a single audio drama, because she doesn't even recognize her well enough to know her when she's young. Yeah. I don't even think there's a moment where she's like, "Oh, you look kind of familiar." Like
not really.
Yeah, because even Charlie, I think she even mentioned that later. She's like, "I didn't even recognize." Like, so it's to me. She felt
says
like
she should have. I should have recognized you. I knew. Yeah, right. I knew you.
So to me, it feels like she didn't really have the same kind of relationship with Edith that Edith thought.
Well, that goes into that like upstairs downstairs thing too, because Charlie is
from the upstairs.
Yeah, Charlie is upstairs. Yeah. So as much as she apparently has thrown off that that privilege, that aristocracy, and gone off on some adventure or whatever, like that doesn't mean that she has managed to remove herself from those prejudices that like the downstairs people aren't, they don't deserve to be what do they matter, they just are downstairs, you know, like so
yeah, and not in a vindictive way necessarily. It's just kind of like it's not in her realm of her, her social realm. Yeah. But it is now at the end of that episode. Mm-hmm. I mean, unless you want to think that Charlie's just trying to save her own life, but it doesn't feel like that way.
No, she felt very attached. I feel like even at the beginning, like she was more attached to Edith, more upset that Edith had been murdered than Then
and
I
that
even
people
feel
kept
like
forgetting her.
Yeah, that she was so offended by the idea that anyone had forgotten her.
Yeah. But Charlie had actually forgotten her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it gets weird and clingy at the end.
And
yeah.
And I think like Charlie picks up on that too, like where you're like I killed myself because you're like, oh no, please don't. That's weird.
It's really okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, it's all that weirdness.
Because was Edith the cook?
Yes.
I mean, she stayed there until Charlie ran away.
She stayed there after Charlie ran away.
Yeah. She was there. She was there when she heard the news. So she was a cook in Charlie's. She was never a she was a scullery maid
in a house before all that. And then had to leave that house because she had an affair with
the chauffeur.
With the chauffeur, and then the chauffeur, rather than marrying her, was like, nah, see ya. And so to avoid scandal, she had to leave.
And then I guess just trying to think of how old Charlie was when she ran away.
I mean, I would assume 17 or 18.
Well, I had thought that she had run away and then that the accident happened shortly around that time.
Yeah. See, that's what I was saying. It also sounds like Edith hasn't seen her since she was a little kid.
She definitely fixated upon her as a little kid.
Yeah,
because
as a child.
Charlie gets hypnotized a couple times.
Oh, and she reverts. You're right.
Yeah, where she reverts to a child. But I don't know if that's just because that's when she fell in love with her.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is from this episode.
Yeah.
But I had just assumed that it was she ran away.
She got on the blimp.
She got on the blimp, and then the blimp went down, and everyone thought she died.
Right. Because she did die.
She
was
supposed to
right
die.
now we have two timelines, one where she did and one where she didn't.
Well, one where she goes missing. Like, they don't find her body, I don't
Is that
think.
true?
Well, they know that she was on the blimp.
Yeah.
And they count the number of bodies on the blimp, and I think it matches the same.
Oh, okay, so there is one episode, there's one timeline where she is dead.
Dead, yeah.
Yeah.
So, so now you've got these two, and that's the paradox has always been a big thing in Doctor Who.
Right.
Like the problems with the paradox and blah blah blah, which is what you've got now. You've got Schrodinger's cat. You've got one where she's dead, so Edith is dead, and one where she's not, so Edith isn't.
Right. Which is how something like this aberration, this house aberration, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they mention it, but I looked at it as like the newer Doctor Who series have the fixed points in time that you can't change no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the blimp crashing was at a fixed point.
Oh.
And then
the doctor screwed it up.
Yeah, he saved someone from it.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
But like this was like I don't know too much about classic Doctor Who, but I have not heard the word fixed point at all in any of these, but they treat it like it is.
Oh, and so you think like fixed point is something that they use in the reboot to kind of...
Yeah, because the fixed point has been something even since Eccleston. That, like, there are certain things, like with Rose's father, like, you know, there are certain things we can't fix, and certain things we can't change.
This what this feels like the blimp crashing feels very much like you weren't supposed to mess with that.
Yeah.
Although, I take that back, because Rose's father was another one of the paradox things. If he hadn't died, we wouldn't come back here to save him. Oh, and so...
Well, that might be because she tried to do it so many times.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I thought it was like when she touched herself or she held herself as a baby.
Oh.
And
okay, anyway.
That was fun, too. That's a whole other conversation, though.
Yeah.
So is this, do you know, this is the only time that he takes a companion not from the present time.
I don't know if that's true or not.
You don't think so?
Well,
at least for the reboots, that's true.
It is for the reboots.
Yeah.
Classic Doctor Who, he had I think he had a cave woman.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did, and she dies. She's one of the first Doctor Who companions to ever actually die. Oh,
really?
Yeah, she dies in the TARDIS.
Like he doesn't save her. No. Like she dies.
She dies. Like the way Clara died, except she stays dead.
Yeah.
Like. They don't even make a whole lot of fanfare about it. There's just an episode. You can like YouTube this or whatever. You can watch the scene where she she gets sucked out into space, basically.
Whoa.
Yeah,
yeah, that's dark.
Yeah,
the reboots haven't actually killed any of them.
Not
the companions.
I mean, they have. And they haven't.
Each. Yes.
Yeah.
They each get a lottery ticket. Like.
No, this is very unceremonial, very much a death, and it's back far enough that it's in black and white. So.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's for that time period too. You would figure that they wouldn't show something like that.
I'm trying to think. Nefertiti traveled with Matt Smith for like a minute. We got the episode with the dinosaurs on the spaceship, where where Nefertiti's running around for a minute. But no, you've never really had a companion that wasn't part of modern day like England too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
they've always
Amy
been
may
from
be Scottish,
England.
but she's from England.
Yeah. Wait, is Amelia's character Scottish? Because the actress is Welsh.
No, the character's Scottish.
Oh, okay.
They make it I mean, it's unrelated. They make a point of how she kept her accent, even though she's living in this.
Yeah, that she'd been living in England most of her life.
Well, see, there you go.
So,
yeah.
Would you guys listen to more episodes of these?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was really good.
Cool. So, both of you have seen The Night of the Doctor, the short little mini episode where he regenerates into the War Doctor. So, not kind of this was your first adventure with the Eighth Doctor.
Yes.
What do you guys think of him?
I was more impressed with Charlie than I was him. I mean, he feels like one of the Doctors. Mm-hmm. But I didn't find anything that stuck out about him where they've really... So Eccleston, all the reboots, they've tried to make each of them feel very distinct and unique. And I think... What's this actor's name again?
Paul McGann.
McGann. I think McGann feels more like a generic, like the archetype of the Doctor. And not... I don't... Well, I mean, just having one episode... I mean, his voice is pleasant.
It is.
So I have two counterpoints. There are two things that I noticed about him in this episode that I was like, okay, this feels different for me. One is the very opening scene where he, they step out and everything's dark. They can't see their hand in front of their face.
Right.
And he goes back into the TARDIS to look for a flashlight, or torch, as the English call them. And sends Charlie, he's like, oh, you've got 5 other senses, go out there and see what you can find. And she immediately breaks a glass, like the jam jar or whatever. Well, he comes out apologetic. Oh, that was so stupid of me, that was so careless, and I've sent you out to do something silly, and you've gotten hurt, and let me fix this. And I have not seen that with any of the other Doctors. I've not seen any moments of like, oh, I'm so sorry, hang on, I didn't mean to put you in harm's way. Especially not from anybody like Matt Smith or David Tennant. Definitely never took a second to be like, my bad, kids. My
bad. Nor Capaldi. Capaldi is like completely oblivious. Clara's in danger almost all the time.
Rory even makes a point of saying in one episode that, like, saying to the Doctor that what makes him dangerous is that people want to impress you.
Yes.
And like, the Doctor has this look on his face like it never occurred to him that he's inspiring people to put their lives on the line, kind of thing. So that felt very different for me. This Doctor who immediately realized that he had because he was almost making fun of her, sight isn't your only way to see, your only way to know anything, like, go touch things, go out there in the dark and see what you can smell and figure out, blah, blah, blah. And then immediately realizing that he'd been a dick and like, managed to possibly get her hurt.
So he's the kinder, gentler Doctor.
Yeah, I felt a little more self-aware there than your Doctor usually is. But then the other thing was that he felt more, I guess the word is carefree to me than the other Doctors have. He took a long time to start taking what was going on around him seriously. He was very enraptured with at first, like, not being engaged in anything. Oh, look, we can't touch anything. How are they doing this? And then very, like, even after the first murder, like, oh, isn't this interesting? Like, the way we've been integrated into the story, and, like, what can we figure out? But no real, like, we must find the culprit right now before he hurts anyone else. Like, very, like, whatever, I'll get to it. Like, very enjoying the adventure of it. Rather than, it took him a long time to get like, oh, this is not okay. We need to go.
Yeah.
Oh, like.
Well, those seem contradictory notions then.
They do.
So that he is entertained as, like, he's objective or standoffish to what's happening immediately around him, but he's more concerned than other Doctors with the safety of his companion.
With the people that he cares about. Yeah, I do understand that those are contradictory things. And like I said, I only have this one thing, although Night of the Doctor, like the little mini episode, like he shows up to save this woman who's, his ship is crashing, and he's very cavalier and very charming, but very like, no big deal, the thing's about to explode, who cares, I got this, like, but at the same time, when she refuses his help,
he goes down with her.
Yeah, the idea, like, he can't leave. He cannot leave someone behind. Like, he basically kills himself. He does kill himself. They bring him back to life.
He died in that crash.
He kills himself rather than not save this woman, even though...
He's in Chimes of Midnight, he also, like towards the end, he's offering himself up as a sacrifice.
Right, yeah.
Which, again, is why Charlie has to be the one to save the day.
Okay.
She probably had to be in general, but the doctor's, like, just willing to be like, take me.
Yeah. like, rather than let somebody else get hurt.
That's interesting.
Something I thought was interesting, like, just re-listening to it. All the other doctors sort of have, like, this respect for all life. Like, unless you do something wrong, then a lot of doctors, like, give them the finger and throw an orange at the butt and you're off a cliff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's Tennant. He's willing to...
whatever. Matt Smith could screw you up, too, if he needed to.
Yeah.
But it gets to the part at the end where the house takes sentience. Mm-hmm. And they're having this conversation, and Doctor's like, kill yourself.
Yeah. You gotta die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to not exist. Like, all the other doctors, like, there's like some monster attacking people, like, they try to find the kind thing to do with it at first.
This is a paradox, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that might explain it.
It might.
Because it's not a living creature. I mean, it's not an alien creature.
Yeah.
It is sentient.
Yeah, it's a thinking thing.
Yeah, who talks about his, like, I want to preserve my life. Like, I want to live.
But it's not the same. So in the Capaldi, like with Bill, there's that living house. Was that the house, though? So there was a creature behind that.
Listen, like, whenever there's a creature trying to kill someone, the first instinct is to kill that creature.
Right.
Just to try to save all living things involved.
Yeah. But not this one.
Not this one.
So, yeah.
But I do agree with you that it might have to do with the paradox thing. That he knows, like, paradoxes have always been a thing in Doctor Who. Like, you cannot maintain a paradox. If you made one, you have to fix it. Like...
Yeah, you have to unravel it.
So this can go along with Key's point. You phrased it earlier, like, pre-recording, that he's more willing to play the game.
Yeah.
And it's kind of more carefree. I just listened to one of his stories, and knowing what happens in the future of Doctor Who makes it amusing, because in his mind, he's accidentally doomed an entire planet.
Okay.
Like, he did something, and he thinks, like, oh, the civilization here is going to be erased because of something he did. And he beats himself up hardcore about it.
Yeah.
And, like, oh, honey, you don't even know about the Time War yet. You don't even know.
He hasn't
you don't even
done
know how
that
bad
yet.
it's going to get.
And, like, you didn't even actually do anything this time. It's just... It was very amusing to listen to.
Yeah. That is interesting. So, do you think that it's more like the Prime Directive in Star Trek, that this Doctor has a sort of like hands-off, I'm gonna watch?
Hey, that's kind of interesting, because that's a bigger thing in the pre-reboot. The Time Lords have a rule, a Prime Directive-esque rule, that they don't involve themselves, they observe, they don't involve themselves in other cultures. And he rebels against that. That's why he runs away. Yeah. But it's also still part of his, like... He's kind of standoffish. He's kind of like, I'm not going to get involved till you make me get involved, kind of thing. Like, but I mean, he will. He's still the Doctor. He still gets it. Yeah, he still gets involved. But yeah, maybe that is why he's a little bit more like, oh, I'm just here for a good time. I'm just playing the game, kind of thing. Like, isn't this a neat adventure?
Yeah, he doesn't have all that guilt or anything yet.
That too.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, even if we see this as a connected, like, each Doctor has their unique personality, definitely. But if we see it as sort of like where it's going in the canon, Eccleston also is a little bit more standoffish. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's like that transition.
No.
It's not fully standoffish, but a little bit. And actually, the very opening of the very first episode in the reboot, there's those conspiracy theorists who are like they see the Doctor at these different moments of history, but he's just kind of there, just kind of watching.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
Well, you get the picture where he's seen he saves a single family from the Titanic.
Right. Yeah.
But just one.
Yep.
Then again, that's what we do in Pompeii too. Is just one.
Just one. Right.
Okay. Guys, have any final thoughts?
I want to know what you. I mean, this is your favorite Doctor.
Yeah.
This is your,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. What do you like?
I really just like how charming he is, and he's more laid back, more carefree. He's very good. He seemed like very good natured. Like I don't feel like David Tennant will screw you over if you feel like you wronged him or someone else. Like he's quick to act on it.
Right.
And really, I know you can't see too much from this one episode, but this Doctor's very forgiving. Also helps a lot. Paul McGann has a very easy voice to listen to.
Yes, I agree with that.
Because I can just listen to headphones and this. And Charlie's really strong.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah.
She's a very interesting character, especially when you throw in the whole she dressed as a boy and left her family behind, and
like she's never the damsel in distress. She's not. Everyone's like to stand back while the Doctor saves the day.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I like that.
And I like to set up the episode. It's a very interesting take on the murder mystery.
Your traditional Agatha Christie esque kind of clue.
Right. Yeah.
In the kitchen with the candlestick kind of thing.
In the kitchen with the plum pudding.
Like I said, if that had been visual, those murders would have been very, very gross.
Yes.
Ink.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also very on the nose.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what I loved about it.
The
it was
chauffeur
funny.
being run over.
Campy.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
campy.
Yeah.
Like
Scullery maid being drowned in her own dishwater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like campy, like in at the point where that was campy.
Yeah.
Like someone was like organizing the whole story.
Right. That was not only was that an aesthetic decision,
but it fit the narrative.
it was the logic behind it.
I liked it. So next time, talking Brandon's favorite episode, which was
Midnight.
Which will be a little argumentative of an episode of ours.
It's fitting for that episode.
Yes, kind of true. Because it is by far my least favorite episode.
Is that true?
Yes.
We'll save it for then.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
all right. Well, thank you for listening. And once again, if you want to listen to that story yourself, bigfinish.com. It's only like $2, so no reason not to get
it's
it.
worth that. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you all.
Bye.